सब कुछ दिया विसार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार। इस धरती पर कभी न होगा अनुज भरत सा कोई, जो 14 वर्षों तक अपने राम की खातिर रोए। ऐसे सब भाई भाई के जुड़े हो मन के तार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार, अमर है राम भरत का प्यार। राम भरत की गाथा होगी जब तक है संसार।
सहनौ भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। Together we will chant Bhagavad Gita, chapter 14, verses 11 to 20.
सर्वद्वारेषु देहेऽस्मिन् प्रकाश उपजायते, ज्ञानं यदा तदा वेद्यात् विवृद्धं सत्त्वमित्युत। लोभः प्रवृत्तिरारम्भः कर्मणामशमस्पृहा, रजस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभ। अप्रकाशो प्रवृत्तिश्च प्रमादो मोह एव च, तमस्येतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे कुरु नन्दन। यदा सत्त्वे प्रवृद्धे तु प्रलयं याति देहभृत्, तदोत्तमविदां लोकान् अमलान् प्रतिपद्यते। रजसि प्रलयं गत्वा कर्मसङ्गिषु जायते, तथा प्रलीनस्तमसि मूढयोनिषु जायते। कर्मणः सुकृतस्याहुः सात्विकं निर्मलं फलम्, रजसस्तु फलं दुःखम्, अज्ञानं तमसः फलम्। सत्त्वात् सञ्जायते ज्ञानं, रजसो लोभ एव च। प्रमादमोहौ तमसः भवतो ज्ञानमेव च ऊर्ध्वं गच्छन्ति सत्त्वस्ताः मध्ये तिष्ठन्ति राजसाः जघन्यगुणवृत्तिस्थाः अधो गच्छन्ति तामसाः नान्यं गुणेभ्यः कर्तारं यदा द्रष्टानुपश्यति गुणेभ्यश्च परं वेत्ति मद्भावं सोऽधिगच्छति गुणानेतानतीत्यत्रीन् देही देहसमुद्भवान् जन्म मृत्युजरा दुःखैः विमुक्तोऽमृतमश्नुते.
We were discussing excuse me, how the gunas predominate. When sattva predominates, every aspect of the personality demonstrates knowledge. When rajas predominates, then there's all running around in greed and activity and like 100 miles forward and 200 miles backwards and sort of like, just start something and, so truly it's impulsive up to the point of irrationality sometimes. So too much rajas. Just can't think, ye bhi chahiye, wo bhi chahiye. And it doesn't necessarily have to be, I want more money. It could be ye bhi chahiye, wo bhi chahiye, in so many different things. I want to read this book also, I want to read that book also, I want to go to this class also, I want to go to that class also. Chill. Have some kind of concept of what are you achieving, what are you trying to achieve, and are your actions taking you there? One day I say, oh, I'll do this, and then you set off in that direction. Another day you say, I'll do that, and then set off in that direction. Are you a human being or a hare? It's a big question to ask yourself. So this is the nature of rajas. And of course, rajas, because they get interested in something else, they start doing X, then they get interested in Y, then now what happened to their X? Some sattvic person has to look after it. Somebody start something and then dump it on somebody else to look after. So this is a very common kind of way of functioning. And we have to recognize how this is functioning in us. Otherwise, there's always problems. Always problems. And these problems which are generated are never because of us. They're always because of somebody else. Very interesting phenomenon. So this more. Starting this, starting that. All over the place. There are business people whose businesses have crashed because they do not know what to start and what not to start. I'm sure you have examples in your mind, but I distinctly remember one person. He was a highly respected person in Mumbai. He held a high office in Mumbai. I'm not going to tell you more because then you all will figure out who I'm talking about. You probably won't because this is like 50 years. He put a finger in every business and literally collapsed. He collapsed means he suddenly died. And then this was left to his son to handle, a young boy. And he had to begin with just finding out what is where. And then he came to Swamiji and Swamiji just helped him close so many things. Stop doing so much. You can't handle it. You can't handle two things. You started 47. So this is the nature, undertaking of works. And then unrest, always unrest. See, it all goes together. You take all stupid decisions, then you take stupid actions, and then obviously you're in a state of unrest and longing. Because why does a rajasic person long so much? Have you ever thought of that? Why is there so much longing in this person's life? Have you ever thought? Why do you think rajasic people are longing so much?
Because they're so miserable right now.
Sorry?
Because they're so miserable in the present.
Yes, but they develop their thought further. What is all this longing for? Remember that this longing, he said it last, right? He said lobha greed, pravritti, activity, just doing. Undertaking of works, pravritti arambha, arambha karmanam, starting works. So many things, I'm going to start this, I'm going to start that. And that feeling, I have started it. That is also very important. Then ashama, no rest. And last one, he says spruha. Spruha means longing, desiring, wanting. If you think about it, longing should be first. No, that is the beginning of all this problem. But he put it last, which is strange if you think about it. Why would that be last? Like first step of a rajasic fellow would be longing, desiring, craving. Now, since he put it in the end, we stop and pause and say, why? And then it occurs to you that this person is longing so much because none of his desires are getting fulfilled. And why are his desires not getting fulfilled? It is the law of nature that whatever desire you have, it has to be fulfilled. Even if you say, I don't want it fulfilled, it will be fulfilled. It's a law. Because your life is designed by your desires. So they have to be fulfilled. After you realize and you don't want something, you will get it. Not wanted means you have no longing for that. But since you had desired it in the past, you now realize it will be milna hi padega because it's the law. Ramatirtha says, you shall not be trifled with. You are God. You shall not be trifled with. Nature has to follow what you say. So in the normal course of events, your desires should be fulfilled. But they are not getting fulfilled. And because they're not getting fulfilled, that longing is growing more and more and more. Why? Because a rajasic person is not trained to take one thing up and take it to its end. Then take another thing up and take it to its end. And thereby have his desires fulfilled. Doesn't know how to do this. So ये शुरू किया, ये छोड़ दिया. So unfulfilled desire. अब ये शुरू किया, ये छोड़ दिया. Another unfulfilled desire. ऐसे करते करते at the end of it, that poor person is so frustrated. And more longing, more and more desiring. Like suppose I say, oh, when I was young, I got the state award for painting. Now suppose I say, oh, I'm supposed to be such a good painter. Why don't I start painting? So I start taking painting classes. Okay. And then while I'm taking painting classes, I learn somebody is doing a dancing class also over there. But dancing, I've never tried dancing. Maybe I should not try dancing. So I enroll for dancing class. Then at dancing class, I realized that, my God, all these dances are all based on Ramayana, Mahabharata. I should learn Ramayana, Mahabharata. Now I start a class on Ramayana, Mahabharata. Then what will happen? My life is there, right? So I will miss my dance class. I will miss my Ramayana class. I will miss my, what would I start with? A painting class. And what am I feeling? I'm feeling frustrated because my desires are not being met. I can't stick with anything. That means I cannot fulfill my desires. And that is why the rajasic person is always longing. And why is a sattvic person not longing? Is he devoid of desire? Sattvic person also has desire. Then why is he not longing?
He sees things true.
His study first.
His
His goal
desires
is
are
fixed.
being met.
Whatever
fulfilling
he
his desire.
sets his thing out, okay, I am going to achieve X. Then everything in his life will get aligned to X. When he has done X, then he will set Y. Then everything in his life will get aligned to Y. So one after the other, his desires are fulfilled. If he's happy with life. So simple, right? But we don't want the simple one. We want the tough one. We want the difficult one. Because that somehow seems very exciting to us. Remember, all that glitters is not gold. So, this rajasic person, not recognizing the negative traits, continues with the negative traits and suffers from spruha, longing. All this happens when rajas predominates. What happens when tamas predominates? We want the saas bhi kabhi bahut. Meaning,
Do you want the drama and all that?
oh, that way, okay, yes.
People attract.
Correct. We like that.
Janki,
Yeah, Deepa.
I have a question. Many times, even though I'm doing what I'm doing, there is always a lot of dissatisfaction because I feel I can do a lot more, but I'm not able to do so much. Maybe I'm not capable to do so much, but I'm always looking at my fellow artists and thinking, oh God, they're doing so much. Why am I not able to do so much? So, what is that exactly? Even though I'm consistent, I'm doing in my own space, I'm doing how much I can, but I still feel like I'm capable of more. I'm not able to do that. Or rather, I'm not doing it.
I have no idea, but I can summarize what you just said in one word.
Yeah.
Can anyone else summarize in one word what Deepa just said?
Is it tamas, or is it I'm not capable, or is it I have too many things going? I'm unable to pinpoint.
One word, too many words, Deepa. Just one word. Just summarize the whole problem as she has just told us.
Comparison.
Very good. Meera, is that you?
Yeah.
Excellent, Meera. Comparison. Isn't it? You are doing all you can, as much as you can. Now, what is the problem being generated? Other artists are saying, some are doing whatever they're doing.
They're doing a lot more.
Yeah, doing a lot. So good for them if they're doing a lot more. Sometimes we just clap, yay, you did so much.
I always clap and support Janki ji, but I'm always dissatisfied with the amount I'm doing.
But why? See, there are only two reasons that this can happen. One is I haven't done enough. That's reason one. Or two, I haven't got enough.
Not more than getting enough, I haven't done enough.
Right. So then you have to analyze, according to me, why am I not doing enough? I have done so many shows. I have so many paintings, so many people. I don't know if you all know Deepa is a famous artist. She has all these shows and all these things. So if you want any art done, you can request Deepa.
My work is in the airport, all that getting I got. But as an artist, I don't feel accomplished.
And you have to ask yourself, why? Do you find it a time issue? Is it that you haven't spent enough time in it?
Yeah, I think that also.
That also.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think probably that is more pinpointing to more of that. It's the time.
Right. So then you have to ask yourself, why have I not spent more time? Do I not wish to spend more time?
I wish to. That is the problem.
Right. So then why am I not spending? Am I getting involved in things that have got nothing to do with what I'm really trying to do?
Generally, I stick to what I'm supposed to do. But maybe I don't have the drive to do as much as I like to do. I don't know.
You have to decide, because at the moment you're saying both. You're saying, I want it, but I don't want it. I think the problem will lie there if you're not even sure whether you want it. I want it, but I don't have the drive, shows internal confusion, right? It's not clear to you whether you want it or not.
I want it. That time very clear.
Then what's the question of no drive? And what is that it you want?
Sorry?
What is the it you want? Why don't you define that? I want it. What is it you want? You want to paint? Then go paint. You want to sell your paintings? Then you must
maybe do more work and get better. And I think it's more of repeating, putting many hours where automatically the work evolves and improves and all. So that is where I feel I'm lacking.
You're not putting enough time. So why are you not putting enough time? Is it because of lack of discipline, or is it because of other commitments?
Both.
Right. So cut out the other commitments, that leaves you with lack of discipline. Cut out other commitments, which tell people.
Yeah. Nobody will stop me from doing what I should be doing, actually.
Yes, your husband is not going to say, come and watch my tennis match.
Never.
Your son is not going to say, come and help me with my work. This is not happening. So other commitments are what? They're more outside. So therefore, it can be cut. The problem is always the lack of the discipline usually in life. You to keep focused on something, to keep focused. And that's not an entertaining thing. So the mind wants to go here and there.
Yeah,
and then it gets bugged when other people have got it, but they've paid the price. Don't worry, Deepa. All of us think like that. We all think that we could have.
Janki ji, you do more than any human can do. So I'm sure you will not think like that.
I don't know about that. But it is a common human thing. All of us, if I ask in this class as a random sample, how many of us believe that we have got everything that we should have, deserve to have got? So how many people feel that they've got enough? If I ask, and if I tell everybody, okay, raise your hand if you feel that you could have done better. Are a random guess what percentage of people will done better? Anyone can feel like that, right? I think 90% of our class would say that we could have done better. This is a normal mind way of thinking. We just feel like that. Everyone feels like that. It's not you alone. Ask in the class if you don't believe me. See, let's see. Let me go back to gallery. Every now and then this gallery goes away. How many people in class, if you all would like to share, feel that you could have done better? Who doesn't think like that? It's a norm. Can you see everybody, Deepa? Everybody has put their hand up. We all feel like that. That's a normal human way of feeling. So then you have to eventually tell yourself, I got the just desserts of what I did. If I want to do better, I better work a little.
Harder, put in more hours.
I better work a little.
Smarter.
Very good. I better work a little smarter. Because what brought me here is not going to take me there. So I got to work a little smarter now. If every time I want to up my game, I can't work harder because there is 24 hours in the day. I got to figure out what is it that I have to do better and how am I doing it better. So it has to start with the intellectual this thing, and that way, as a Vedantin, is where you should be scoring. That you can work smarter. So that clicks your intellect into gear. The rajas tendency is to run after something, but the intellect comes into gear. You start thinking that, okay, how do you do this better? Like, for instance, many years ago, we used to struggle to raise money for yajna. Okay, we need 5 lakhs for yajna. We run a 5-6 lakhs we need to run a yajna. We just thought of work to try and get that. Remember, Mahesh, we used to start every yajna worrying where is 5-6 lakhs coming from. Right? And then over a period of time, okay, we could get 5-6 lakhs. And then we started doing some, then we decided from 5-6 lakhs, we took up a project of 108 crores. Now we are in the like, oh my God, where? So we break it down, because 108, so where are we going to get from? Okay, so we needed the first few crores just to buy the land. Done. Now we need 20 crores right now. Now, at every stage, we have felt the same helplessness. The same, like, अब ये पैसे कहाँ से आएंगे? Right? When we did the yajna, first 1 hour talks, which cost about 1 lakh or so. Okay, then yajnas, which costs 5-6 lakh. Then property, which costs a couple of crores. And now building on that property starting now is 20 crores. At every stage, we say, ये कैसे होगा? Right? Now, what enables you to get a 1 lakh donation is not what enables you to get a 5 lakh donation, is not what enables you to raise crores. So if you want to up it, you have to up how you think about it. So that, as a Vedantin, is where you have to score. How are you changing your way of looking at it? How are you changing the whole perception of it? Like, if we need to raise 20 crores now, we can't do what we did earlier. I mean, we are doing it, of course. We're doing crowdfunding and all, as you all know. All of you, please give something into crowdfunding. Don't just sit back and watch and say, yes, university will come. You're all working very hard. Please, all of you, do something about it. So the thing is, when you start upping your ante, suppose now you say, what I want is, I want to be in the league of Picasso. Then you have to think differently, not so much do differently. Right? So you say, I can't put in more time. Or firstly, how do I put in more time? Or if I can't put in more time, what can I do differently? Think differently. Okay, helpful.
Right, thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
Vedanta is not very helpful. But
no, it is for sure. Thank you.
So this is it's a nice thing for us to all share, that all of us, everyone in this class, believes that we could have done better than we have. And so do I. I also think so. I think, imagine, I'm approaching 60 and I'm still struggling to put up one, I mean, not a massive thing, a small thing, right? No, not something so great. 108 crores in this city, in Mumbai, is what people spend to buy a flat. And we are behaving like, oh my God, so much money we have to raise. It's not a big amount. And yet it is a struggle for us. So every one of us feels that we could have done better. But please remember, this is a natural mental quality. Everybody feels so. But our intellect has to come in and say, okay, if I feel I should do better, then what is it that I need to change? Engaging the intellect has to be the fundamental, what should I say, SOP for a Vedantin. That's what you do. If you feel you need something, you don't start running. You stop, in fact, running and think. Think a little further. Okay, how do we do this now? No, thank you, Meera. Momita. Regret along with comparison is a symptom of rajasic thinking. Yes. The rajas in us has regrets, has comparisons, has all this thing. It will all come under ashama. All this, just think about all these things. Basically, sattva means you engaged your intellect, rajas means you didn't. Bottom line. Right? Rajas is not like we're not helplessly rajasic. Today's way of looking at everything is somehow make ourselves helpless. One way that psychology uses all the time. And I don't know whether psychology itself uses it or the laymen use it. They say, oh, in my childhood this happened and therefore now I'm like this. Everybody justifies their behavior by something that happened in childhood. Grow up. Okay, it happened in childhood, but you're an adult now. How about growing up? No, when I was young, then my mother used to hit me so much. So now I get very frightened if anyone speaks loudly to me. Okay, you've understood that. Now you don't use this excuse for the rest of your life to take bad decisions because you're being shouted at. Yes, I appreciate that I'm a little overreaction. Therefore, what will I do? If I'm overreacting to something, what do I do? That's a question. What do I do? Somebody's shouting at me. I'm overreacting in my mind. It's going crazy. What do I do?
Use your intellect.
Walk away.
Huh? What did you say?
Walk away.
Walk away. You say use your intellect and all intellect is already gone. If the intellect was there, I would not be overreacting, right? Walk away. Just walk away. Walk away means don't decide anything then. You feel you say, getting very excited about something, somebody's offered you something and you're all ready to take it. Walk away. Just walk away. Your head is not on your shoulders. But your feet are working, so use them. Walk away. Is there any reason that we have to respond under such emotion? Let the emotion subside and then you respond. If you don't, then you go into this regrets, comparisons, oh, why did I decide that? People get married like that. It's frightening. So excited about this person, I'm getting married. Pagal hai kya? You're taking a decision for life. Walk away. I mean, not walk away from that person and dump that person. Maybe that person is ideal, but walk away and think carefully whether this is the right thing I'm doing. Understand what you're getting into, the positive and the negative. Don't say, so nice, he's so handsome, he's so wonderful, he takes care of me so well. Have you noticed he's also hot-tempered? He's also not very clean. He's also something or the other, because after you get married, you will notice all this and then you will focus only on that. And balanced view, you make up your mind what a person is. Make up your mind and hold that view through good times and bad. Sensible, no? But do we want to do anything sensible? Make up your mind what a person is. It's not like when you like a person, he's like, oh, mera chand, mera tara. And when you don't like him, then he's mera gutter. How can you go from chand, tara to gutter like that? A person is what he is. Decide what he or she is. Decide whether you wish to be with this particular package. And if you decide, yes, I'm being with this package, then hereafter, finger on the lip. If you complain about a person you choose to be with, then you're an idiot, not that person, because you chose to be with that person. Momita, just because you say I do doesn't mean you can. Correct. Momita is an aspiring writer, so she puts everything very well. Just because. Can I borrow your line, Momita? Just because you say I do.
Not mine, some influencers.
Oh, is it? Just because you say I do doesn't mean you can. You say now you take on a marital companion, you marry somebody. Do you know what that even means? That means you're tied to this person for the rest of your life, come hell or high weather. Is this the person you want with you in hell and high weather? Don't you think about that? And if he's the person you want with you in hell and high weather, then be with that person. Even when things don't look like they're going well. Deep Raj, no return policy. You can return, but you can't return and buy back, return, buy back, return, buy back. That you can't do. You make up your mind. You say, okay, I made a mistake, out I go. Then out you go, finished. End of story. Not every day, oh, but that was better. So there is a return policy, but you get it once.
Unless you're Liz Taylor.
No, unless you're listed. You're free to take advice from anyone whose life you want. So if that's what you want, Mahesh, please take her advice. You have a long way to go, of course, to reach there. So rajas means largely you are functioning on the mind. Do not say, oh, I am so rajasic, because that sentence has no meaning. The reason he's telling you that this is rajas is to tell you that this is an incorrect way of functioning. To which you, excuse me, just nicely take the word rajas and say, oh, what to do? I'm so rajasic. It's not an excuse for our behavior. It is an indication that we're doing something wrong and we can correct it. It's not an excuse, oh, what to do? I'm so tamasic. I hear people, I'm so tamasic. That means you find it is not like an excuse. Okay, I'm tamasic. Now what to do? I won't work. Not like that. But okay, I'm doing something wrong. What should I do to improve myself? Because none of these things are easy. Like saying in class, it's very easy. Use your intellect. It's not. It's damn tough. That is why all Vedantins are in the top 1% of humanity. Because it's not something that anyone can do. It is a huge thing. Now, all of you, please don't pat yourselves on the back that we are all in the top 1%. When we become Vedantins, we will be on the top 1%. Attending class doesn't make us Vedantins. When we become, that means we've engaged our intellect every single time. It is not talking about our spiritual growth. Okay, it's not saying that you're at 10%, so you'll engage the intellect 10%. You're at 90%, so you'll engage 90%. There is no such thing. At 10%, you have to engage. At 90%, you have to engage. In both cases, it's going to be effort and not always entertaining effort. That is why if we hang out a little bit together, that's why nowadays we're trying our best to do something in person. We hang out a little, at least we are there to remind each other, Bhaiya, aapka gaya abhi. Walk away. This is your time to walk away. We'll be there. We're there for each other, right? Nobody is perfect, but we can together do something perfect. Yeah, Deepraj?
In the higher stages of spiritual growth, is even more difficult to engage the intellect, because at least here we have somebody to guide us who is gonna get through our mess. But when it's that high of a level, it is so easy to think that we have figured it out, and it's so easy to even find. It's so difficult to find people to ask questions and all that. So it becomes even more difficult to engage, like have that intellectual engagement in the higher levels.
Absolutely. Because it's not a common thing. Suppose you alone could understand art from dirt, with whom would you discuss this? So it's not easy. So at some stage, if you're making a mistake and you're taking some mad thing to be art, who can find this out? That is why, we all have to work to raise general level in society. Which means basically first we have to sort ourselves out. So if all of us, let's say how many of us in class, 27 of us in class, imagine if we 27 have engaged our intellect each and every time, this world will be a different place. Because we'll have created that, right? And when one person does it, there is no saying that effect is on how many people. So yeah, it's difficult throughout the journey, but it is more difficult when you go higher in terms of identification, that it is not being used. That becomes more and more difficult. Because in the lower levels, you're usually doing something that society calls wrong. Like, for instance, you're taking drugs, society will say you're wrong. Or you're becoming an alcoholic, society will say you're wrong, and you're told that. When you start getting obsessed with a child, for instance, now nobody knows what is love of the child, what is obsession. So this has gone hazy. So as you go higher and higher, it gets more and more hazy for everybody, and therefore difficult for the individual. Yes, so you're right.
Thank you.
Janki,
Yeah, coming to you, Milind. Bharat?
So if a rajasic person is willing to back a desire intellectually, would he find himself free of the unrest and longing mentioned here?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
To that extent, obviously, that's understood, no? To the
Okay, could you
extent,
elaborate?
means to the extent he's able to bring his desire under intellectual governance, to that extent he will be freed of all this stuff that we spoke. Okay, let's see. To elaborate, this is clear or elaborate further?
Yeah, it's clear.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, Milind?
Janki ji, the self is covered by three gunas, right? Sattva, Rajas, Tamas. But this verse is saying ignorance is caused by tamas. How come only tamas can bring ignorance?
Not only tamas bringing ignorance.
They mentioned, no, in the verse, in
Yeah.
the commentary it is mentioned.
Yeah. The aspect of ignorance is a tamasic thing. The way it is described is there is vikshepa and avarna. This is a traditional way of describing it. There is the self, and it is hidden to us through vikshepa and avarna. Avarna means ignorance, vikshepa means agitation. So the avarna, the covering aspect, is tamas, the agitating aspect is rajas. What you don't know, that's total darkness, right? You don't know it. That is tamas. Then that whatever you don't know is manifesting in some way and agitating you, that is rajas. So it's not that tamas alone is covering the self. It is the ignorance aspect which is known as tamas. So what is tamas? Aprakasha. Prakasha, light. Aprakasha, no light. Apravrutti. Pravrutti means activity. This person is running here and there. That was a rajasic, I remember. So when you hear, oh my God, I shouldn't be running around, then you go into apravrutti, which means you go into tamas. Say, oh, we are not supposed to run around. I'm doing nothing. I'm sitting down and enjoying. I'll watch television. No, now you've gone to tamas. All right. So pravrutti is not the right way. Apravrutti is not the right way. What is the right way? You act with your intellect. When you do too much, it is rajas. When you do too little, it is tamas. When you do the right amount, then you are doing sattva. It is like Goldilocks. You know Goldilocks? The father's what was it? The father's soup was too hot, and the mother's soup was too cold, and the Goldilocks had the right one, not too hot, not too. And somebody's bed was too hot, and somebody's bed was too soft, and but Goldilocks found the right one. So that is what is sattva. You can call sattva Goldilocks because find the right one. Not too much here, not too much there. So aprakasha, darkness. Darkness is symbolic of ignorance. Ignorance of what? Ignorance of the self. It can be absolute, which is ignorance of the self, or it can be relative, which is any ignorance. You're functioning with ignorance, means you're functioning with biases, with prejudices, without facts, forwarding WhatsApp messages, saying all sorts of things. Have you verified before what forwarding it? Now, if you don't forward, it's just, or you forward exactly the same. Everybody knows it, but now I say, "Koi kaam dhanda hi nahi hai." Right. So, aprakasha, ignorance, absolute or relative. Apravritti, no action, not running around, no activity. But actually, tamas is not that. It seems to us that not doing something is tamas. Of course, that is tamas. However, when it's apravritti, it is inertness. No pravritti, no initiator, no action. Inert. What does inert mean? Of course, it means you're lazy and sloth and no exercises, all of that. But what is the original quality of being inert? It's not just that your body is not in movement. It is that your intellect is inert. It is that you have no purpose in life, no direction in life, no understanding of life. It is the inertness of the body is bad. Inertness of the intellect is unforgivable. Going with the flow attitude. Deepraj, going with the flow is not always tamas. That's the problem. Going with the flow can be sattva also. Depends on what exactly you're defining going with the flow. Because if you're living a beautiful life, you will be going with the flow. And if you're doing nothing also, you will be going with the flow, meaning you're not doing, there's no initiative on your part. So both things comes to the same, both things give a very different picture of this term. Right, so.
But usually I have heard it used in the tamasic context where they just don't want to think, they just jo chal raha hai, waise hi chal raha hai.
Yeah, correct. But originally it was used as a sporting metaphor when you are playing your best game. Here you're not thinking, but you're just able to deal with every ball or whatever it is. It began like that, but it has, yes, as you know, tamas mimics sattva. So, inertness. This simple inertness, I'm sure you all understand. We all understand it. We all experience it. We know. Just plonk yourself in front of a television or a screen, any screen, and allow those people to bring some life in us. Push some emotion out. Push some excitement out. Somebody has to spend millions of dollars before we feel anything. Inertness is in front of a screen. Somebody else has to excite all this in us. Or not exercising. You need to be lazy, slothful, cupboards, everything is a mess. Cupboards, purses, documents, everything is a mess. Home. I think this we understand. This is clear to everybody in this class. What about intellectual inertness? Being inert at the intellectual level, where there is no mission, no purpose in life. It is इसने ये कहा और उसने वो कहा. No purpose at all. Why am I here? What do I intend to do? No questioning, no thinking, no purpose, no direction. That is the real inertness. From that comes pramada. Pramada means heedlessness. As much as the rajasic person is longing for a fruit, the tamasic person has never considered the fruit, never considered the result of action. They started an action. And what is going to come out of that action? वो देखा जाएगा. So, not associating with fruit, which is a sattvic quality, is not obviously rajas, who's chasing the fruit, and is not the heedlessness of tamas either. Just not thought of the fruit, just not thought of the result, just like, oh, iska result bhi koi aayega. That is called heedless. Like you drink and drive. You say, I'm very sattvic because I'm drinking and I'm driving. I'm not thinking what the result will be. I'm so sattvic. So, pramada means heedlessness. Moha is delusion. We'll come across this again also later on in the text. The very interesting quality of tamas, that it is not able to identify something correctly. It will see ulta. It will see dharma as adharma. It will see charity as taking. I mean, it's an incredible thing, right? There are some people who don't understand that they're being served. Somebody does some service for you, you don't know you're being served. You think, oh, look how much I did for this person. सबके सब पागल है, क्या कर सकते हैं? So, as this tamas covers us, it's like we just can't see. You know, this King Lear, he could not distinguish. His own 3 daughters. He cannot distinguish who is a good daughter and who is a bad daughter. He cannot distinguish. This moha, even in charity, you see that. People are very charitable. They give a lot of money in charity. But they never think, which is the charity I should be given? Oh, मुझे कितना बुरा लगा, उसको trouble है, तो मैंने पैसे दिए. Imagine, I mean, if at all we want to do charity, suppose each one of us has a budget of X for charity. How much would you like to give that budget to an actual problem situation? Like somebody is starving, somebody is ill, somebody is whatever. And how much of that X budget would you like to give to create social consciousness in society? All of us who've gone with our begging bowl, Bhiksham Dehi, we go to everybody, say Bhiksham Dehi, Bhiksham Dehi, we go and tell everybody. The thing is, most of the charitable people we meet, they tell me, I know, I do this all the time. My full-time job is trying to raise funds. You know what is the response I get from charitable people? Non-charitable people say, go to hell, we won't give you anything. That's clear. There's no lack of clarity there. But the charitable people want to give to old age homes, want to give to orphanages, want to give for animal welfare. They don't realize that you can go on and on and on trying to do something for this cause, but you're filling a leaky bucket. As you do something for the animals, somebody else is torturing them. As you do something for climate, somebody else is spewing dirt into the air. When you do something for the trees, somebody else is cutting them down. If you genuinely care about your cause, you have to work on solving the problem at its root, which is creating social consciousness, which is Vedanta. But you can't see this at all. So no, we have to feed those starving people. Those starving people are there because somebody has taken too much. We don't get it. This is called moh. You don't understand black from white. Don't understand where we have to put our effort, where we have to put our time, what is worthy of being done. We choose what should be done or what should not be done based on one word.
Goal.
No, that is what we should do. But what we do is
Emotions.
Desire.
Likes and dislikes.
yes, based on what
Necessity.
Huh?
Necessity.
No, out of just comfort. I am comfortable with this, or I am not comfortable with this. That is my only yardstick. I have no other yardstick. What goal, Bharat? Nobody has a goal. At best, people have some list of things that should be done and things should not be done. That's about the best. So all of this comes under tamas. Moha is the worst of it all. Because, okay, aprakasha, you are ignorant, ab chalo, kya kar sakte? Apravritti, you are inert, ab kya kar sakte? You are heedless, kya kar sakte? But the thing is, in moha, you cannot identify any of these. And that's the killer. Suppose I'm heedless. I realize I'm heedless. I have a cure. Suppose I am in ignorance. I realize I am ignorant. I have a cure. But the nature of tamas is it gives you moha with it, which means you cannot identify that any of these are there. And that's the worst of the lot. Mamita, on rajasic patterns, finding that when my directed effort is rewarded, it is the resultant excitement that makes me lose my alertness. Then, before I know it, some crisis has occurred. Yes, it's a rajasic pattern. That any emotion, it could be success or failure. That's what they say, no? Common thing they say, be good to your people, be good to people on your way up. You'll meet them again on your way down. So, yes, any emotion carried away with it, and then the trouble starts. Yes, so it is a rajasic pattern. Yeah, Bharat?
So going back to the point of intellectual inertness, so if a person begins with a sattvic or a rajasic goal and slowly loses the point of the whole exercise, that's falling into inertness, right? Because he has to keep mindful of the end goal. Would that yet be inert?
No, that would be rajasic, no? He's forgotten that it would come under, would it be inert? Inert means that he had no mission, he had no goal. Inert at the intellectual level. But he's involved in something, then that would make him rajasic.
What if the goal has shifted? Like maybe the goal has shifted to a higher goal while you're in pursuit of the lower one.
Yeah, then it's sattvic, because now it's growth process, right? That means there's more light. And that is what is to happen. We have to take small goals so that they enable us to take higher goals. That is a process of growth. So darkness, that is ignorance. The basic ignorance is ignorance of the self. Inertness, we understand it usually at the physical level. We also should take into consideration the more important aspect, which is at the intellectual level, which means there's no mission, no purpose in life. Then heedlessness is not considering what is going to be the consequence of your action. Easy ones are drink and drive. These are the easy ones. But each one of none of us, I doubt anyone in this class drinks and drives. But other things that we do, which are more the kind of things we do. It is. Can you give me examples of our heedlessness? Don't give other people, give ours.
Skipping morning studies.
Skipping morning studies. Okay, good. It's heedless. You don't know what is the consequence of your behaving like this.
No exercise.
No exercise.
Not donating to the VWT.
Yes, correct. Heedless, not understanding the consequence of these actions. If we all don't get together and work for it, who's going to? And then, of course, there's moha, which is the worst of this lot, because moha means
That you can't recognize.
False feeling of comfort.
you cannot recognize black from white. Discrimination has failed. You're taking dharma as adharma. You're taking non-charity as charity. You're taking, creation of problems as solution of problems. Discrimination is failing. It's the worst level of tamas. You're taking to be love. What is attachment? Discrimination has failed. You're taking to be, you are taking people's service to you as your service to them. Discrimination has failed. Suppose a person has looked after you all their life. Your parent has looked after you all their life. Okay, then you went and you took one rose to your parent and gave. So see how much I did for you. Pagal, eh? Whatever you do, they kept you alive to begin with. So discrimination fails. That's the worst. Okay, Bharat, we have some announcements. Yes, please go ahead.
Shri, would you like to go first?
Hari Om, everyone. If we have, we can show the slides. Is it possible? Thank you. So thank you for our first step, that was buying the land. We thought of sharing our journey quickly. And that's we buying the land. Next picture, please. Then we want to show you how we started our fence and plantation. Our journey so far with our trust, it's been 3 years. We are a registered trust. And then we did our plantation. We have planted around 800 shrubs and plants, trees. And then we did the Bhumi Pujan. So we're really happy and excited for our next step. That is now building a complete building now. So for that, we have participated in marathon. So we request everybody to participate, do your bits. The link is being shared in the group, and we have to raise as much as possible, as soon as possible by the 25th of December. So please donate and please join us and please come to Mumbai. Thank you. Hari Om. Over to you, Bharat.
Hari Om. Yes, Hari Om, everyone. Quick reminder from November 27th to 1st December, we'll be having Sushila ji's Bhagavad Gita lecture series. This will be the first in-person lecture series after COVID. So those in Mumbai, please do join us, volunteer with us. We need volunteers. And do get in touch with me if you can. Thank you.
And during the period of the yajna, please remember there will be no online classes. If you all are not in Mumbai, but we would like to come to Mumbai for the yajna, then let us know.